I'm Mark Bell, and you're catching me on my 10-minute walk. What I want to talk to you today about is how to optimize your day, how to make your day a little stronger, how to make your day a little bit better. Something I learned years ago is, you never start a day until it's finished. And what that means is you don't start your Friday morning. You start your Friday on Thursday night by planning out what you're going to do on Friday. You always want to be kind of a step ahead when it comes to your days. It's been really helpful to me each day, knowing and understanding, what I'm going to do the next day. But once I go through the day, one thing to think about too is you don't want to just get through the day. You want to get stuff from the day. So don't think about getting through the day. Think about getting stuff from the day. Cool idea, Mr. Bell. How do I get from the day? Well, the way you get stuff from the day is by thinking about what you did during that day. One of the places I look right away, because I deal with a lot of people in a given day through many different variations of communication: email, text message, phone call, whatever other messaging system I run into, maybe podcasting, maybe communicating this way, communicating with y'all. When I think about that, I want to think about, how did I treat everybody today? Did I treat everybody fairly? Run through the list. I was on my way home, and driving through Dixon, California. There ain't much out there except for cows. Had the music turned down a little bit, just was kind of lost in my own thought. And I thought about that. I thought about, today was a good day, but what made it so? What made it good? And I reviewed it. I'm like, oh, my best friend was in town. My boy, Jesse Burdick, he was in town. He and I have shared a lot of great times over the years. Have a lot of great memories together, have a great history together. And now he and I are working on markbell.com together, and that's amazing. All right, cool. What else made it good? Well, my best friend, when he showed up, he didn't show up empty-handed. He showed up with some Flying Dutchman from In-N-Out Burger. That made me happy. That got me excited. What else made it a good day? Well, I had a really good phone call with one of the companies that does stuff for our commercials. And they came to us with some really great concepts. What else happened in the day? Well, I recognize how grateful I am to my media team, which I'm grateful to every single day. But in shooting stuff for markbell.com and in shooting stuff for our workouts, I mean, these guys they're on top of every single move that I make every single day. They're there to capture everything. On top of that, they're talking about, hey, we're going to shoot this video, but while we're shooting this video, if you do this, I can turn that into a second video. Like, we're really optimizing stuff, and it's really cool. Their thoughts are in line with a lot of my thoughts. Their thoughts are in line with a lot of my beliefs. My beliefs are in line with a lot of their beliefs. We're starting to kind of mesh together really well and become one. So when I thought about the day, I thought about why I liked it so much. A lot of it was about optimization. Like, shit, man, things are going pretty good. And I thought to myself, well, it was a good day. Was it a great day? Was there a way to make it a different day? Was there a way to make it a better day? Optimizing the day, could it be a better day? And expectations. I learned that a lot of times I've been expecting myself to do something or be a certain way. I expect to be strong, and then so what happens when you're not strong? And you feel like shit. You hear that? Guy just yelled, strength is never a weakness, out of his window. Welcome to Bizarro World, ladies and gentlemen. Shit's getting weird over here in Davis. I've learned that over time, having expectations of myself and having expectations of other people, it almost always it ended in disappointment. And so then what do? Just don't fucking have expectations. It's pretty simple. Cut them out of your life. Somebody might say, well, that doesn't seem like logical. How would you do that? You do it by doing what I just said. Get rid of them. Don't have them anymore. I don't have expectations of Carlos. I know that I know that given the correct environment, I know that with the correct setup, that Carlos is going to do an amazing job. So I don't mingle. I don't poke around a ton in what he does. I don't mess around with his business. He runs this channel, this YouTube channel. I do think that he's going to post a handful of videos every week. I do know he's going to be innovative and creative, but I don't have a quota. I don't have like a set thing for him to specifically do. I don't do that with any of my employees, because again, then I would be in a coercive way. I would be like, hey, you know, we have this written out on this sheet, and like, you're not doing it, you know, you're not meeting these expectations. Meanwhile, every time he meets an expectation, we don't ever celebrate it. We don't ever talk about it, right? I don't work that way. We celebrate every day. We try to have a good day every day, rather than trying to overreach and have a great day and trying to make it something that it's not, reach for shit that's not there. What happens when you overreach or overstretch? Overstretch in yoga, you get hurt. You try to lift too much weight, you overreach with the amount of weight that you're prepared to do, you get hurt, right? We can't afford to do that. So how do we make each day better? We make each day better by, at the end of the day, we place a little bit of judgment, a little bit of healthy judgment, sprinkle some of it on there, and ask yourself, how could that day have been a little bit better? Is it possible for it to be better? Does it need to be better? You want to have a lot of disruption. You want to think about shaking things up, stirring things up. When you think about your business, when you think about succeeding in anything, you want to really disrupt the status quo, and you want to think, how can we do things differently? You know, I'm thinking about doing some different stuff with some knee sleeves and some elbow sleeves and some different things with apparel and different things with this and that, right? For the most part, those things are going to normalize the business, and those are my crops that are always coming in, right? Those aren't really the major change up pitches. Those are dosages of the same things that always worked well for me.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You got it? I think it's sprung open now. There you go. Those are the same things that always worked for me, that I just continue to do. When it comes to like Slingshot products, so we might make different colors, we might make this and that, but what's going to set us forward more so than anything else, and what's going to launch us into the stratosphere, is going to be able to have the capacity to think different. You know, think different, be different, lift different, try different shit, do different stuff. My wife and I talk about it all the time. What would Slingshot be? You know, we built up Slingshot this way. We have SuperTraining gym, we have a free gym. We have a 25,000 square foot warehouse. This is the way we've done it. But should this be the way that it always is? No, certainly not. We'll have to figure out, what if we moved our business? You know, because we moved our business to Reno, Nevada, or something like that, or we moved our business elsewhere, we wouldn't have to pay the taxes that we pay in California, right? So we explore everything. What would it look like without SuperTraining gym? Kind of sounds sad to me, right? Just because we explore it, just because we think about it, just because we consider it, doesn't mean that's what we're doing. It just means that we play it out, we think about it. Hey, what would it look like if we had 10 more employees? What would it look like if we had 5 less employees? What would it look like if we made double the amount of money that we make? Or what would it look like if we made 10 times the amount? Is it reasonable to make double the amount of money? And if so, why aren't we making double the amount of money? Is it reasonable that we'll eventually start to make less money, which has never happened before in the company? Every year we make more and more and more and more and more and more. Works out really well, right? But what happens when it doesn't work out really well? Who gets mad? Who gets pissed off? Who's to blame? Anybody to blame? Right? Like, these are just things you just think about it. I played it through, you know? I don't have any problem taking credit for the success, right? I don't have any problem saying, hey, I made a great product, it provides a lot of value, that's why we continue to sell more. The more people that know about the Slingshot, the more people are going to want to purchase it. But what happens when it doesn't work anymore? Who takes the blame? I'm still going to shoulder that blame, and I'm still going to think about, hey, I bet there's better ways of doing this. I bet if we had a better plan, a better strategy, and we put our heads together and we got creative, I wonder if I put it in the hands of our staff. I wonder if I asked our staff, hey, you know what? I encourage all of you to be more creative. It'd be really cool if you helped out with making products. What if I put it in the hands of the consumer? What if I said, hey, consumers, what do you think about this design? What do you think about this logo? What do you think about us doing this in 2021? And I put it in your hands. And I left it up to you. These are all things that would be cool, right? These are all things that are kind of pattern disruptions that could lead to new and better things. So for me personally, when I'm on my way home from having a good day and or a bad day, I just think about it a little bit more. I try to think about, hey, how could we optimize the day a little bit more? And I don't really view days as being like necessarily good or necessarily bad. I'm saying those things right now for convenience, just to kind of it's an illustration to you guys. All of my days are they're flatlined, right? One day could still potentially be a little bit better than the next. But for the most part, every day is awesome because I feel it's my job to really work on trying to make every day as fun and as awesome as possible. But as you guys know, you have some days where you're just a little bit more tired. You got some days where you're a little bit more fatigued. You got some days where there's a little extra stress. You got some days where the walls really cave in. I had a day last week that was like that, where it was like, this thing happened, that thing happened, another thing happened. There was a situation even where I was like, I'm not even sure if I have like a regular lawyer, which, you get a little glimpse of, what something like that means, right? And so I know I have like lawyers for patents, I have lawyers for trademarks, and I have protection on certain things, but I was like, I don't even know, but rather than like getting nervous about it, rather than getting mad about it, rather than getting, thrown one way or the other, I was just like, I actually don't think I have an attorney for that. It's interesting. Then immediately, where did my mind go to? My mind went to having tons of anxiety. My mind went to being distressed, distraught. My mind went to being depressed. No. My mind didn't go to any of those spots. I trained myself too well for all this stuff. I train every day for all this, not just in the gym, but training my body, mind, spirit. When I'm in the gym and I'm training, I'm lifting, I'm building up some muscle mass, I'm getting leaner, I'm getting stronger, but I'm making my mind stronger. And I'm training my mind for all these nuanced things that come at us in life that other people register as being really stressful. Other people in those situations, their blood pressure might go through the roof, but not for me, because I learned how to interpret these things. I learned how to replace my feelings with facts, and I'm not becoming a robot. I'm not stuffing my feelings down. I'm not stuffing them into a box and not allowing myself to express myself. A feeling still might arise. Rather than have a feeling turn into an emotion, I want a feeling to head more towards a direction of facts. And I do so by cutting off that nerve ending of that feeling for just a second and saying, hold on a second, before that feeling becomes a thing, before it becomes a sensation in my body that I got to live with for a while, I'm going to push the pause button and I'm going to think about this a little bit more. And when this situation last week arose and when it came up, I said, interesting. Sounds like I need to find an attorney. 90 minutes later, on the phone with an attorney, set up an appointment, met with him, talked with him. Nothing's coming of any of it, but I got one now. So there you go. You want to try to solve the problem on the level at which it exists is a statement from David Deutsch. Good luck in looking him up. He's really smart. It's impossible to try to figure out how the guy's talking about. But if you do come across his works, you'll end up hearing me echoing some of the things that come from him. That's all the time we got. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Let me know what you're doing to try to optimize your days. At the end of my day, again, I like to look back at that day and I like to re-examine it. I like to reinterpret it. I like to think about the day a little bit more. How did I interact with people? Did I help people? What was cool about today? What do I have to feel good about when I wake up tomorrow? Those types of things. And remember, don't start a day until it's finished. All that means is that you have the next day mapped out. You don't want to start a day and not have anything mapped out and not have a plan for it whatsoever. It doesn't mean that you write things down meticulously. It doesn't mean that you have charts everywhere, because I don't do any of that stuff. It just means that you're prepared. Be prepared. Strength is never weakness. Weakness is never strength. Catch y'all later.